Hi, I'm Lisa Castro, and I started my weight loss journey June of 2003. I was suffering from autoimmune disease and having a hard time even getting out of bed from the fatigue and the joint pain, and having a hard time even functioning with my day because I had what they call lupus fog. It's a terrible way to live a life where you're just surviving each day even though you know you have a family that needs you and depends on you. But what happened to me is I started this journey of creating health in my life. I had no idea I was starting this weight loss program, I thought. But what ended up happening was over a period of 12 weeks, I went from a size 12 to a 0, lost 30 pounds, created a life that now I could function, not only get out of bed, but I was exercising again. I was starting with aerobic and then going on to strength training, and I was just living a life that I never dreamt.
Hello! How is everyone? I feel like I just saw y'all. I'm just kidding. Let me fix so I'm not invisible. I'm losing some visibility because I reset my camera. Nope, false. This good. Alright. I'm sorry. It's Optavia. We hate it here. Thank you. I always forget to play it. No, I don't always forget to play it. I like to play it when I'm about to review Optavia because they like to slap my YouTube. Tatiana, howdy. Yay, another grifter conference just in time to do my homework while watching. Hello. Kiss my size 28 ass, Lisa. Now, the reason we played that is because Lisa and Jaime are at the top. They are above Doug and Thea Wood. And if you don't know who Doug and Thea are, they are just an interesting dynamic duo who likes to equally religiously manipulate while they shame you for how fat you are. So, we've been covering them, and I will say this. It is a twisty ride. It is hard to watch. We take lots of breaks. We play lots of sound clips because we don't want to feel slimed. And I do want to say this. Let me get to the content warning. Please hold. Content warning, religious manipulation, eating, the talk and encouraging of eating disorders, fat phobia, body shaming. There's also going to be some parents who are using their kids' medical history to promote their product. There's, essentially, it's twisty as hell here. So if this is going to be too hard for you to watch, please hop out. Do not let my live stream ruin your weekend. Don't get slimed. I say slimed because that's sometimes how I feel after I react to them. And it is, I am the type of person where I like to at least know what I'm getting into so I can make an informed decision if I want to stay and watch, and I want to offer y'all that same thing. So, Charlene, hello! Amber, what's up? They put a caption at the bottom that says fat and all that. Yes, I need to do that. Yes, so hi, Christina. Is Corinthians still on a road trip? And we've learned about them. And why are we covering this conference? Because they continue to hide their shit behind paid conferences, and an informant sent me this, and I think it's important to highlight, to uncover this, to say, if you feel stuck in an organization because you think that this is somehow, let me close the office door because my robot is cleaning. Hold on. Sorry. I don't have a good intro slide. 1 second. I don't want to get up. I'm nervous. Let me just turn my camera off. Sorry. I don't have a be right back thing. Testing. Okay, I can hear myself. Hello. Janet. Hello. Not that Kate. Thank you. My robot is cleaning sounds so Jetsons. We're so, is it 21st century? I will, if unfortunately, I think on Saturday or Friday, they have all of their kids come up on the stage and tell what an incredible thing Optavia is. And I will redact their faces. I have an emergency redaction dealing bobber here for that, but I will do it in my program, Premiere Pro. I'll blur the heck out of it. I'm just trying to fix my lights. I'm still at my parents' house. I'm going to be here for the foreseeable future. What am I trying to do? We don't know. No. Escape, you unwieldy machine. Okay. I need to load the video up. Great question. If you were an Optavia video, where would we be hiding? In the downloads folder? No. Desktop. Let's try desktop first. Jessie Lee Ward. Snap save. Is this it? Nope, that's Jessie Lee. Is this it? Are we gonna have to play it through Vimeo? We are gonna have to play it through Vimeo. Please, I'm sorry. We need to go open Chrome because Vimeo Thursday opening session because it is twisty and we could, oh god, we are at
and I want
2
to explain
hours
to you three things.
We are at 2 hours in. We are going to be full screen. We're going to go to the reaction video. Not quite, so close. We're going to go to Google Chrome. Excellent. My video should have captions on it down at the bottom somewhere. They're automatic captions. The latency is normal, so that means there's going to be a delay between me like being able to react to y'all's comments, but YouTube does give an option for automatic captions, and I will make sure to caption this after the stream for real. Oh, cool. Yeah, definitely lurk. We love a lurking, get stuff done, craft. Sweet God, hello. I have a sleeping doggy snuggled up next to me, and obviously I can't move, so I'm here for the long haul. Love that. Oh, she's still with her sister in Nevada. I'm just here crying alone at home, having a nervous breakdown. Oh, I'm sorry. Keep yourself busy. Keep your mind occupied. I hope that this gives you something to focus on. I hope she's having a great time. Oh my God, we love that. A sleeping puppy. I feel a smidgen better. My mom made me some bone broth, not the Gwyneth Paltrow bone broth, just we are trying to keep everything in my stomach to stay in my stomach for a normal period of time. So I have my bone broth. I drank some clearly Canadian earlier. So you're not late. My sister is coming for Easter and I'm cooking up a storm. I love that. Oh my gosh, I'm crocheting. Have y'all seen Wednesday? You know, her checkered vest? I'm making one of those for me. Deanna, howdy, howdy, howdy. A surprise party. We love that. We love that. Let me see if y'all can hear this.
We have 25,000 people that go through my daily devotional for 15 to 20 days in December, and we begin to see lives change. And I'm telling you this because I didn't have a hand up. Like nobody came and said,
Oops.
here's how you're gonna change the world. Here's how you're gonna do this. There were battles I had to figure out internally that nobody would ever know that I was dealing with. There were mindsets that nobody would ever say, don't think like that. Oh, that's not gonna serve you. Oh, that's gonna make your world really small. Nobody would challenge it. And so I had to understand
Aaron,
that I
I love
needed to
that.
show up like a grown-up. I'm sorry, and this is, you'll notice I'm pretty passive.
I'm apologizing again. Content warning for ableism, because what the hell? What do you mean we're all going to be grown-ups? There's different capacities that different people are able to do because of constraints that they have on their body. And I wouldn't say that I understand that in a, like, I go through this and I understand, but I have friends who this is so shitty because it perpetuates ideas that continue to negatively portray those who are not able-bodied as, I don't know, that's just my perspective. I know I'm not finishing my sentences. I got nervous. I got scared. I love that you got a bird feeder though, Aaron. That's cool.
But I want to say that
Look, I will say this. Jump scare. Where's our goat? Where's our goat? Here's our goat.
Lick the stream.
Please lick the stream. I got my anxiety GIF up as well, so we love that. Here we go.
I'm sorry you didn't get everything you needed before you reached adulthood. I'm sorry that you didn't get someone to spend time possibly and challenge you and encourage you and provoke you.
Provoke you.
But this is your time. And you get to learn the skills that will change your life and the lives of others as you move forward. And so I brought a couple resources, and I didn't really know when to talk about it, so I'm just gonna talk about it for a few minutes, and then we'll get going. My latest book was I Dream Big, and this book is about a Bible study to discover your purpose, break out of disappointment, and chase dreams God's way. Did you know that when I went to write this study,
Caitlin, you're the
I was like, what do
MVP
I write
licker.
for 2023?
You're the MVP licker of the stream. Thank you.
And I was like, really didn't want to write about dreaming
That's the last time I'll ask.
because we had just gone through COVID. Our doors had been shut for a year. We lost 40% of our income. Our senior leaders actually planted a church in another state. And our beloved pastor's wife died of cancer in July.
Oh my God. Apologies.
So when I went
Content
into
warning.
2020
I didn't know they were going to talk about all this. Every content warning on the planet. Here we go. Probably not every content warning. But please. The fact that they don't even tell the audience about what they're going to be speaking about, so you're shocked into some kind of emotional response, is wild.
23, I'm like, let's talk about grief. Let's talk about pain. Let's talk about hard things. And God began to talk to me, and he
Yep.
said, listen, if you're not dreaming, you're not acting like me. Because you come from a long line of dreamers. Men and women that dreamt big for their life.
Amy,
and were willing to
hello.
overcome the battles and the obstacles. And so instead of just thinking, I don't feel like dreaming, dreaming is an exercise you have to force yourself to do. And so this is really about chasing your dreams. What makes a dream?
Oh.
God.
If you haven't caught part 2 or part 1, do I extend the shit out of stuff? I do. This is a huge leader / celebrity person from Bethel in Redding. I know there's all types of churches called Bethel, but I'm talking about the Bethel, the twisty Bethel in Redding, the grave soaking Bethel in Redding. Okay, I'm not saying she grave soaks. I'm saying that was a whole thing. Her twin sister is in Optavia, so that is why she is speaking at this conference. She makes a shit ton of money for Bethel, or like for herself, but she brings a lot of clout to Bethel because of her Bible study stuff that she does. Yes, and there was also a controversy with a content warning. I'm going to talk about a little infant who has passed away, and it is a twisty story, so I'm about to talk about that. I will wave my hands when I'm done. The little baby passed away, and the parents were under the impression or the belief that God was going to raise the baby from the dead. I'm not meaning to whisper. This is very I'm trying not to cry. And so they were praying and worshiping and for days and days and days, 24/7. And they got other churches around the country involved with that. Other people believing that the baby was going to be raised from the dead. And the baby did not get raised from the dead. And it was, if you've not read the story, and you're sensitive to that, I'm sorry, I'm done talking about it. It is a true story. Shannon, it's all true. Bethel is some twisty shit, and it's very exploitative. So, if you don't know that backstory, if you don't know the types of places that some of these people come from that are involved with this MLM stuff and the speakers they bring in, sometimes it doesn't seem as awful, but it's twisty as hell here. It's devastating. It's devastating and it's very sad.
Dream. Now, I know we all don't have the same faith in this room, but most of us can agree that there is a divine interaction where there is an invitation for us to be more on the earth than what we possibly thought we were. And what I found is that there are attributes of a God dream, but not only that, the God dream for you is not something you go find, it's something within you.
I love that, Shannon.
Think about this. What I discovered was that there's something called a purpose timeline. And a purpose timeline is very simple. First, where have you encountered the divine? Where in your life have you encountered within your whole life? Was it a praying grandmother? Was it going on a hike and something happened internally and you begin to see those things?
No disrespect to the Christians in the chat. I want to also be very careful when I am making commentary content that it's specific and that it does not shame people who believe in God. Because I know some very ethical, kind, moral Christians who do not weaponize their faith against others. Melissa, Charlene, other people in the live chat, my parents. Why are we talking about this and having a purpose timeline at a multi-level marketing conference? How did we get here? Why are the waters murky right now? It is my opinion that a multi-level marketing opportunity is not a purpose or like a divine calling or anything like that. And the problem is this, in my opinion. You have people in the audience who are believers, who get it twisty that They're looking to have more meaning in their life. They look up to these people on stage and they think that all of a sudden their calling in life is somehow helping people into an eating disorder. And that's my opinion. And I don't mean to boil it down like that. We've done enough of streams on here that I hope that if you have an issue with me, that you at least know my positioning as it is with Optavia. And as someone who is part of a team in Young Living, who they said their calling was to help people with their health with essential oils, and they believed without a doubt that God had called them to this. And I had gotten into several conversations with the leader that I had signed up with, and I was like, respectfully, I don't think that God has his hand anywhere near this stuff. Because what if people decide not to do it? If they're fully bought into the idea that they're somehow doing God's work and they're bought into that, their mind is bought into that, and then they leave or there's a falling out, their psyche is wrecked. I say that from personal experience. I'm not trying to whisper. I'm trying to not be emotional. It's twisty. The water isn't just murky. It's full of mud at this point. Yep. The crazy thing is they give you no business advice, no business plan, profit and loss, budgeting or strategies, nothing. I've seen a guy go up to a missionary on campus telling him to stop because he's making Christians look bad. I feel like she's doing the same. How do they distract people from the number one thing they joined for to make a living? This is a great question. Because they intertwine being successful in a company with being somehow elevated or on a higher personal level with development, that you cannot achieve a certain level of success in any multi-level marketing if you are not personally developed, which is why they use the excuse that if you're not winning in your company, they don't say, oh, it's the math, it's how the business structure is, it's all this other stuff. It's, well, sometimes you need to go through hard shit so that you can be the right kind of person to lead people, and you need to personally develop, and you need to go through trials and tribulations and all this other stuff. It gets twisty, and you think at face value, if someone heard that initially, wouldn't they just say no? It's more nuanced than that. There's more layers going in on it. And that's why I think it's important to watch these things in their entirety, because I think you kind of, if you've never even been in multi-level marketing, and if you're not religious, I think you can start to see how it gets twisty when we watch people like this.
Then the second areas you begin to see is your pain. And pain actually has a purpose.
Yep.
But not all pain has a purpose unless you give pain a purpose.
Exactly,
You can
Melissa.
be in pain and miserable and leave the earth. It's your decision if you're going to take your pain and put purpose to it. And what I discovered early on was that my pain could be a roadmap to helping someone else. You see, the people that stood up here today, the reason we all had that moment of like, wow, was because they weren't talking about head knowledge.
They were talking about fucking heart knowledge.
They were giving us firsthand information. They were saying, me too. This is what I thought. You can do this. You see, when we begin to encounter our pain and acknowledge it and begin to walk through it, all of a sudden, we begin to have authority. And authority is what people tune into. Because they go, oh, wait a minute. This isn't just head knowledge.
Authority is what people tune into. That's an important thing. Because they are saying you're going to overcome someone's sense of self-protection and the thoughts of saying this might be twisty and maybe this is not safe to be a part of with in what she's saying, authority to overcome objections. No. No. And not all pain has a purpose. Shit just happens. Yep. Yep.
It's not just something that you're saying that sounds good. You did the work. So I'm leaning in to figure out how you did it. And so that is I Dream Big. I have 2 other books quickly. This is my I Do Hard Things.
I'm just going to shill the shit out of my books on this stage. Why?
I actually wrote this before the fabulous podcast that came out. I've
Has Savvy ever covered this lady? Does anyone know?
sent a cease and desist. No, I'm teasing, but this is I Do Hard Things. And this is about breaking free of fear and pain. Pain has a voice. And the voice of pain says, do whatever you need to do to make it stop.
No.
And when we are in pain, we don't dream.
Shut up. That is such a bold statement to make. And I will say this, and I always say that, and it's annoying as shit. There are people in the world who are functioning, who continue to show up in the midst of being in daily pain. And they don't weaponize their experience to manipulate others. And there are people who live in chronic pain that also I don't know what I'm trying to say. I know I'm about to make a blanket statement. Those people dream too. It is hard to bump up against her thought process about others. Because it feels very dehumanizing to me. The way that she talks about, you better get out of pain as fast as possible, or you better figure out how to use your pain and learn from it and forget it. Hey, Daisy. Daisy is a creator here on YouTube. She does anti-MLM content, and we're going to be streaming soon. I've been busy at appointments and stuff like that, but I'm going to link her channel in the chat, and yeah.
And for some of you, we're pushing you to dream in the next couple days, and I'm challenging you to go after pain.
What?
And you may say, but I don't want to go after pain. I want to go after dreaming. And I'm saying the reason you're not able to dream right now is because there's something in your way that's blocking you. It's a limited belief of what you can or can't do that's actually been initiated by grief and pain. So take the time, take all the time you need to go through that. That's breaking free of fear. And then lastly, I do boundaries, which is what I'm going to talk about tonight. So we're going to go from staying powerful.
This lady is, where's my iPad? If it's dead, I'm going to have to, it's not dead. Let me go to my notes. We were taking notes last time. Where's my notes at? Her name is 𝐔𝐒𝐄 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐿𝐒. I have never felt better about being called Notepad Girl than this moment right now. 𝐔𝐒𝐿e𝐒, HAVILAH, Cunnington, CUNNINGTON.
Anyone's birthday? Is it anyone's birthday? Is it yours? Okay, come get these. These are your books. All right. I want to show you a picture of myself. And it's a picture of my family when I was really little. I'm just going to set them right here. Thank you. You'll see a picture of my slides of me as a little girl. Hopefully you'll see that slide. That's me as a little girl. Let's keep going. We're going to skip some slides. Just go right to the picture of me.
Their production team did a crap job on this.
It's going to happen any second. It's really going to get there right now. Okay, he's like, that doesn't look like your family. Okay, it'll pop up when he finds it. So I was this little girl who lived in the 90s. Does anybody live in the 90s? You understand, right? Like, my kids feel like their life is terrible. I'm like,
No,
well, we had to actually.
again, there's also, if you don't, if you never streamed before, there's ultra low latency, and normal latency. And for YouTube to have the automatic captions, it's on normal. So there's a little bit of a delay between me talking and the comments coming in. So I wish I could do an ultra low and have captions, but I think captions are hopefully the captions are working. So my live chat or audience who needs the captions to be able to participate in a live can have those. So you're never interrupting me at all.
Like drive to see people, and we had to do certain things. But what I found as I was in third grade,
run the world.
Keep going.
Hi.
That's not me. Those are my boys. Okay, I'm gonna keep going, and you can pop it up when you're ready. So,
Ouch.
I came from a family of immigrants who were Italian,
Okay.
and my grandfather came over on Staten Island with his 5 siblings to live in a little apartment. And my grandfather worked his way through law school in the 1-bedroom apartment. And eventually he became a Supreme Court
Thank
justice
you, not
of
that
New
Kate,
York
that's
State
awesome.
for 4 terms. All of his kids, all 5 Italian.
That's true. If the production team is working for free, shame on Doug and Thea Wood for allowing people to work for them for free and not rewarding them for the work that they are doing. There are some people that will donate their time, but for this, when they got paid so much money for these people to come to this conference, for the church to donate the facility, for them not to pay the audio engineer, or if that's the case, pay the people who are doing work for you. Especially if you're in a fucking MLM. I'll rewind it, sorry. She just said that her grandparents were immigrants. I'll rewind it. Okay.
It's gonna happen any second. It's really gonna get there right now. Okay, he's like, that doesn't look like your family. Okay, it'll pop up when he finds it. So I was this little girl who lived in the 90s. Does anybody live in the 90s? You understand, right? Like, my kids feel like their life is terrible. I'm like, well, we had to actually like drive to see people, and we had to do certain things. But what I found as I was
She's my
third grade,
age?
keep going.
No, really? No, she must be.
That's not me. Those are my boys. Okay, I'm gonna keep going, and you can pop it up when you're ready. So, I came from a family of immigrants who were Italian, and my grandfather came over on Staten Island with his 5 siblings to live in a little apartment. And my grandfather worked his way through law school in the 1-bedroom apartment. And eventually he became a Supreme Court justice of New York State for 4 terms.
A New York justice
All of his kids, all 5
of New York
Italian
State
kids, were very successful. They built businesses. They were high-powered attorneys in New York City. They were invested in success. And I came from a family where going to college wasn't, are you going to college? This is what college are you going to, and what's your plan for your life? And that wouldn't have been a big deal, except for in 3rd grade, I had a really tragic moment in my life. In 3rd grade, I'm sitting in class, and one of the teachers invites me to go into the back room in the office. So
okay. I don't know what she's gonna say. I unfortunately have not watched this. If she's about to talk about something that traumatic that's happened to her, y'all mute. You mute it right now, and you can read on the screen. I will wave when it's over. Just mute the stream if you need to.
Go in the back room, I sit in front of a lady, and she gives me some tests.
Okay, never
And when
mind.
I get home, my parents sit me down and they say,
Okay.
Avila, we found out some things today. We found out that you are dyslexic,
So is Emily D.
But you
Baker.
have reading and comprehension issues.
I do too.
You have ADHD, and academics are going to be very difficult for you. This is back in the day when anybody who had a learning disability did not have an advocate. We were just going to suffer through it. Do you know what I'm talking about? They switched me from right-handed to left-handed, and they said that's all we can do.
Oh my God, you're crackling.
I'm not sure what is going on. It didn't matter that much at third grade, but when I started to go to junior high and high school, I could not read my own handwriting. I could not read out loud.
Oh.
And I was very illiterate. And
I'm sorry, I thought that she was going to say something else because we never know with these people. I hope that kids do have advocates now. I feel like she's the same age as Emily D. Baker, though. Yes, remember that the Supreme Court in New York is their regular trial court. It's confusing. Thank you. Oh, oh, fuck me. What parent frames it like that for their child? I don't know. Her parents, I guess. My mom was forced to go from left to right hand as well in school, but she didn't grow up in the 90s. She, hey, Shadow. Amy, same. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, like, scare the hell out of you. I definitely think it is polished, if that makes sense. Yes. Right. And yes, I don't want to minimize the difficulties that face kids in schools who have ADHD, dyslexia, are on the spectrum. And I feel like using this in this setting is twisty. And so Coconut said, I have ADHD, couldn't read till I was 9, and am on the autism spectrum. School was extremely hard for me. Still didn't use any of that to get someone to join an MLM. I agree with her. School was very traumatizing for me with a learning disability. And I think it's important to continually to say in like different corners of the internet that it is, what am I trying to say? If you have grown up with a parent or a teacher or an authority figure who is like putting limitations in addition to talking about the complexities of learning with all of these additional factors, I hope that you can find incredible people, incredibly talented people to look up to see the scope and the possibility when we do have sometimes small-minded people who say like, it's basically over for you. There's people like, and mostly I'll hold up law too, but there's incredible nurses, there's incredible teachers, there's incredible lawyers who have learning disability, learning constraints. They have dyslexia, they have ADHD, they have, and I'm sorry about the terminology. I'm not trying to slip up on my words, where I hope that in the future we continue to advocate for additional help for kids so that they feel empowered with and that they also have the tools to be successful in school. My mom worked with kids with dyslexia, autism, and other learning supports in the 90s. I may have just gone to a progressive district, not that there weren't things that have since changed for better. Thank you for saying that. This is giving E from the bite model emotional control. Many people feel things in a group to make them more tied to said group. 100%, Hannah. They could have said, look, there are certain things that are going to be challenging for you. That doesn't mean you're a failure or broken. We're going to support you and we're going to figure it out together. My mom tried to get me the help I needed as long as she could. I have ADHD.
I sat in my class terrified that somebody would find out that I could not read.
Oh.
And I remember hiding for years. And I would be loud. I know it's shocking. I would be funny, inappropriate a little. But I spent some time understanding like I don't belong in here. And so when I began to start to feel a tug to help the world, I immediately knew I'm not the girl you need to use. I'm the broken girl who's on the yellow brick road still looking for her brain.
Oh my God.
It's okay, I can laugh about it. We're all good. My life is great. You see, whatever story has wrapped itself around your heart, when you begin to get big and begin to be powerful and begin to have favor, you'll have to go after that story. Because that story is the story that tells you you don't belong in a room like this. You don't actually have what it takes. You're not like them. And I want to explain to you three specific areas that we often don't live powerful lives because we give ourselves a free pass to get out of the powerful line because we assume it has to be something. You see, staying powerful matters. Why does staying powerful matter? It's because of this. Powerful people are not the character in their story. They are the author in their story. They're not the one that goes, well, I'm this age and I gotta move here and I gotta go here and I gotta do this, and they're just going through the motions. No. Really powerful people stop everything and say, wait. Am I on the conveyor belt of a narrative that I created? Or am I on a cultural narrative? Or am I on a gender narrative? Or am I on some kind of road that I have to do? Where really when you get your power back, you begin to see, wait a minute. And that's what we talked about. The police officer, right? The one that said, wait, I'm on the conveyor belt of being an officer, but it's...
Do not shame. Jobs where you are giving up large amounts of time and they're emotionally distressing, they're physically intensive, and jobs that we need to help society run as good as possible. And I'm not ignoring the reforms that need to be done. I'm mostly taking a point of issue with people in MLMs shaming others and talking about it like it was some kind of easy thing to be a police officer or a firefighter or a nurse or a doctor or a utility worker or an electrician or a teacher. Oh, I was just going through the motions. We need all kinds of people to help society run well. We need good teachers. We need good police officers. We need good people in government. Sorry, I'm not trying to get upset.
Am I just the character in the story, or am I actually the author? And for some of us, we've been so successful, we have forgotten to go back and write the story because the character has somewhat become us, but we have not challenged the narrative to say, is it still me? Am I still showing up authentically? And is it possible for me to do this? So here's the question I want to ask you tonight. And this is important. What is the one thing that is keeping you from living a powerful life? What is the one thing
No, you're good.
that's keeping you
No
from
trauma
living a
dumping, y'all
powerful
are good.
life? We did some surveys, and like I said, we have hundreds of thousands of people. We can put out surveys, and it's exciting to find out. And we found that there were 3 distinct things that people often use to discount their
Hello,
ability
Blaze
to live a powerful
Goddess.
life. And so the first one is we often think we don't have the personality. I mean, I'm not outgoing, or I'm not super smart, or, I'm not that cute, or whatever it is, right? But I don't have that. And
First stream.
the core
When the Marine retired from the Marine Corps, it was in the first one where everyone was saying, like, how do I know if Optavia is going to be the right vehicle for me when I'm only thing I know how to do is be a police officer? And it was in the first stream. Yeah, so we're still on night 1. I'm long-winded as hell. I can't help it. It's genetic.
limiting belief is I could be powerful if I had the right personality. I could be powerful if I was outgoing, if I was a people person, if I was an intellectual, and what we don't understand is that we have believed a false lie, which is all powerful people would look the exact same if that were true. If we believe that we have to have a specific personality to impact our world, then everybody could you imagine if you had a room full of Doug and Theas? I mean, it would be amazing. But most of us aren't. Why? Because they're powerful in their own lane, and I'm powerful in my own lane, and you'll be powerful in your own lane. And so what happens? Why do we want to expose this? Because it's subtle. Fear is subtle. Limitations are subtle. And so we think it's no big deal. I'm just, oh gosh, I wish I was like him. Gosh, I wish I was like her. Gosh, I wish I was funny like that. And those little subtle things actually trap us into stories that are not true. And so powerful people, I love the quote by Danny Silk. He says, powerful does not mean dominating. A dominating person is the exact opposite of a powerful person. Success looks different on every person.
You'd have the audacity to talk about a dominating person, and you don't know who is, and Doug is that type of person. I don't hate everything she's saying. I think it's twisty. I think it's twistier in the context of spewing this at a multi-level marketing conference. A room full of Doug and Tias? Yup. I know. I saw your message. I said congratulations. I also messaged Beth. I'm so happy for y'all. It makes my heart so happy. Lynn, Beth is officially my girlfriend. I love that. Yes, congratulations, Harper. I love that so much. I love it so much too. Preying on insecurities is a classic technique. It's frustrating because sometimes the concepts behind these talks are good, but the execution and situation changes the whole attitude around it. That's so well said, Hannah.
Success looks different on every person. What is your definition of success? Because when I look at the next picture, you'll see powerful people that are not the same. There's many people that are not the same that are powerful in their generation. Well, do they all have the same personality? No. Do they all have the same gender? No. Do they all have the same belief? No. Do they all have? No. They're all different and distinct. And so what unifies them? Well, statistically, what makes a powerful person, they've done tons of research on this. They've written books on this concept, but they've looked at it and said, what is it? Is it opportunity? Is it privilege? Is it the right family? Is it the right nation? Is it the right gender? Is it the right education? Is it just a secret sauce? Like, what is it that made them powerful? And when they exhausted all their research, they found there was one thing that they all had in common. One thing. Choice.
Oh my God.
That was it. They could find nothing else linking the powerful person other than I chose to show up. I chose to show up. And every single one of us here has that ingredient available to us. You have a choice to be here. You have a
Love
choice
that.
to show up, and you have a choice to define what success looks like for you. And so the truth is this, which is an unlimiting belief: you do not need a specific personality to be powerful. How many of you just got that? If you got that, I want you just to say, I got it.
Part of what she's saying I get. Okay. Sorry. I gotta fix my light setup because it's fine. Powerful additionally looks different, and it doesn't have to look like speaking on a stage. It doesn't have to look like being boisterous, and being boisterous isn't bad. It doesn't have to mean being loud. I think even more importantly than wanting to be powerful is and we talked about this a little bit last night on stream, or I guess this morning. Last night. She's saying it's about choice too. But I think it's about the daily interactions you have with your family or the people that you are in, society with. And as you learn and grow, and if you're the one with more of the privilege or more of the access, holding space for people and being the small stone or the small twig that starts to create kind of a dam, if there is I'm using a story which isn't correct, but if a stream, it represents injustice or racism or anti-Semitism or silencing of marginalized voices or whatever it is, that the little decisions everyone can make can help stop that. I don't know. You can choose to do absolutely everything in your power to make things better and progress, but if you do not have the right opportunities, connections, it won't happen. Yes, and I guess I'm not necessarily interested in being powerful, but I think I guess I just wanted to speak to the potential of one small movement of people, like people in the live chat, and not having to make it a big deal, but the buildup of a lot of little things can change. And I say this, I guess, with more of the perspective that I would like to add good things to my community, to the world or whatever. And I don't know what I'm saying. I'm a little tired. Sorry.
You got it. I'm not going to compare anymore. I know that that's not true. The second reason often we don't actually think we could be powerful is that we have the wrong people in our life.
Oh, don't shame
Do not
people.
look around. I'm telling you, I want you to sleep well tonight. Do not look around. I used to think I could be an amazing person if my kids would just fall into place. I remember there were times when I was traveling and, I'm preaching in front of large rooms like this, and I'm writing books. And I remember at one point I had in my car with 4 kids, there was a smell I could not get rid of. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
Hannah's
the
the best.
smell. And I don't go back there. It's scary back there, but I prepared after my morning coffee. I went back to figure out what the smell was, because it could be a Costco hot dog. It could be all kinds of stuff, right? But I scoured it. I could not find it. So I brought in the expert, my husband, who has a gift of finding details. And he comes in, he goes, I don't know what it is. This is the strangest thing. He goes, I'm going to go take it to the detail place, and we're just going to try to find out what it is.
Yeah, I think maybe to add to this, I think it's meaningful to talk about at least that her parents were, not her parents, her grandparents were immigrants. And I think it is difficult to I can imagine. I mean, I don't really talk about my family history that much, but it is something to be said that coming to the United States or going to another country with mostly nothing and creating something, and yes, I'm guessing that she's better off, but she also made her own with her Bible studies. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I feel like I'm being too like, what's the flip side? I just want to be I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be streaming right now. I don't know. Let me just keep playing it. I'll let live chat talk.
And he comes in the house and he goes, honey, I found out what the stink was. And I go, okay, what was it? He goes, well, they actually found that somebody had peed in the cup holder in the back. And you had been driving around with urine in your back seat in the cup holder for weeks. And it never spilled. It was just a perfect little, I was a little proud, but honestly, I remember that time when one of my kids said, I have to pee, and I go, just a minute, and then I said, okay, you ready? He goes, it's okay, I'm all right. Which meant this was done while driving. I'm not saying my kid's better than yours, I'm just saying that's a skill. That is a skill. Right when you think you're cool, the people in your life show you that you're just really not that cool. But deeper than that, we often have this limiting belief
I love y'all's love
I
for your
could
floofs.
be powerful if the people in my life would participate.
Point.
If my flipping spouse would believe me. If my kids would get it together. If my boss could just understand what I'm doing. If my coaches, it feels practical to say today, if they could just participate, I could be powerful. And I want to unpack that lie because that is not true. That is not true. You don't need, listen, you can live a powerful life without anyone else participating. I'm going to show you how. I have skills.
No, I love doing stuff with y'all.
See, no one is powerful
So
enough to go inside of you
I'm
and
just gonna
choose
listen
a
and
response for you.
see what comes to
Have
mind.
you ever had someone say,
You're the
make
best,
me
Hannah.
angry?
Thanks.
How many of you ever heard someone say, you make me angry? I grew up with that. You make me angry.
My
No.
parents never said that.
I'm not that powerful. I'm not powerful enough to go inside of you and choose anger. You did that. And when you understand that nobody can go inside of us and choose our thoughts, our feelings, our choices, then we get really powerful. And let me show you how powerful that is. You see, Eleanor Roosevelt said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Powerful people do not try to control.
I mean, systemic issues can absolutely make people feel inferior. Okay. I no disrespect to Eleanor Roosevelt. It just doesn't take it into the complexity of stuff that has happened. I just think it's an inappropriate quote.
Control other people. They know it doesn't work, and that's not their job. Their job is to control themselves. So here's the truth. I don't need anyone else to participate for me to live a powerful life and a powerful story. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a few minutes. The last lie that most of us kind of get stuck in is circumstances. How many of you feel like if I could just have better circumstances, I would do better? Like, I remember telling God, like, I love that you want me to travel and write books and all the things, but like, you had to do it once I had 4 kids. Like, that was kind of mean. That was a little mean. I can't give them back. I can't adopt them out. Like, it's going to be a problem. Those things are hard.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. And we think this lie, which is, I could be powerful when all the stars align. I'll be that kind of person. Like, how many of you are athletes in your brain? Do you know what I'm talking about, right? I sit with athletic people. I'm like, I know what it's like. I get it. It's hard. I had a good run too. Dr. Viktor Frankl from the Holocaust wrote this quote, and he has a tremendous book on this. But he talked about everything that had been taken from the Jewish community, their dignity, their families, their homes, everything.
Their lives.
And he finally says this unbelievable quote. He says, the last of the human freedoms to choose one's attitude at any given set of circumstances.
My mom just gave me a sandwich.
It meant that even when you were enslaved and brutalized, they still had the power to choose what they would think. And that by that, they had dignity to become even in the midst of horrific situations.
The way that, and again, I don't want to speak for the Jewish community. The way that she is using this to prove her point and using that to convince people to further delve into the MLM community, I'm frustrated. I mean, and I think it's disrespectful to lessen the genocide that happened in the Holocaust with a motivational speech given at an Optavia conference. Like, have some respect. For anyone in the UK, speaking of the Shoah, look up the Yellow Candle Project. We are lighting candles for our 2nd year. Bringing food to someone while they're working is so beautiful. My mom is incredible. I don't know like how she and my dad are so like selfless, and I don't take it for granted that they are letting me stay here right now, and she's the one that took me to my appointment. And my appointment's in Dallas. She's just a beautiful human.
And so we understand at this point, my circumstances do not determine my choice to be powerful. And I don't need a specific circumstance to be powerful. Powerful people don't just happen. Every person that you see that lives a powerful life has fought invisible battles that you will never know about. And the fact that many of you stood on a stage here, we didn't know the crisis that you had in your relationships, your finances, or whatever it is, but all of us have to understand that we have to steward our inner life.
I'm going to take a snack break, so I'll just let her play, and I'm going to eat my sandwich.
Like our life depends on it. It's that critical. I want to show you something, and again, I don't assume that everybody believes all of this, but I'll take the Kevin approach, which is I'll show you what works for me. But the book of Thessalonians, it says this. It says, may the God of peace himself, harmony, set you apart, making you completely holy, and may your entire being, spirit, soul, and body be kept completely flawless at the appearing of our Lord Jesus Christ. Now, what am I trying to say here? This points to 3 areas in your life. This is important, and this is not just a biblical idea. This is an idea that is shared by many people. But you are a triune being. You're a triune being. You have a body, you are a soul, and you have a spirit. You are a body, you have a soul, and you are a spirit. Now, this is important that you understand what this means, because I'm going to show you how to get powerful.
This MLM is Optavia. They are having their conference in a church And this lady is a big celebrity person out of Bethel in Redding. The Bethel where they had the grave soaking. The Bethel where it's twisty. I know not all Bethels are twisty. I'm saying the Bethel in California, the where she is twisty.
Show you how to get powerful. I want to show you about the picture of your life and where your power comes from. So the biblical picture of a man is very simple, and I kind of like it in a target is the way that I like to look at it. But your body is what hosts, a lot of things, but hopefully a lot of things. Your spirit is what determines your identity. So when someone goes, oh, I like her spirit, it's like we like her identity. We like who she is. It's who you are. And for those of us that are in faith, we believe that our spirit contains God. It's a place where God speaks to us. It's spirit to spirit. Most of us aren't hearing audible voices of God. If you are, we're concerned. You should not be hearing God audibly. But we talk to God. And so your spirit is dead until you begin to recognize it and invite God to come live inside of you. That's what matters. And it's really where you begin to understand, where you begin to kind of live a deeper life, a richer life. So if we all do this thing, right, where we're living this abundant life, how can we have problems? I almost was thinking about this. Optavia works. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. Like, Optavia works. If you do the program, it works.
Ma'am, what do you mean it works? You're saying that eating 900 calories a day is healthy in the long run? You're saying that Optavia will help you learn how to eat enough calories after you're done? You're saying that more people have won with Optavia than have ended up with a destroyed metabolism and a eating disorder? That's what you're saying? You're saying that Optavia works? Yes, y'all. Make sure to listen to something good and happy after this. I'm going to play Dreamlight Valley after this.
Like, this is not up for question. Like, well, I don't know. They didn't keep. All of us know, even though we don't want to act like it, we all know if we do the program, it works. So why do we have problems? We have problems because of something called our soul. This is important. You might go, well, I'm just going to power my way through it. I'm going to show you how to let go of some things that will help you get powerful. So your soul is your mind, your will, and your emotions. Your mind are the thoughts that you think. Your will is where your determination and your decisions come from. And your emotions are where your feelings come from, how you experience life. And each of those areas needs a direct strategy to be powerful. This is important. So your mind needs to be renewed, which means you need to take each thought and evaluate and say, is that serving me, and is that going to be good for my future? So your thoughts, most of us will battle in our minds more than anything else in our life. Your mind is your constant companion. You will win and lose in your mind. And you show me somebody who is winning at life, I'm telling you, they have an active battle in their mind that they are winning. Because your mind wants to go to the most familiar place. We think our mind wants to be powerful. No, it wants to be at a familiar place. And so it's very important to understand that your thoughts want to take charge, but you are in charge of your thoughts. And you get to lead your mind. I always say your mind is like a junior higher. Like they want to eat all the snacks. They want to do what feels good, but ultimately it's not a good choice. And our minds, if not guarded, will lead us into places we don't need to be. And so our emotions often get healed through counseling or whatever you go to, and our will gets clarified and surrendered. And all of this, these three areas, all make you you. So this is your personality. This is who you are. You have unique thoughts. than the person sitting next to you. You have unique feelings about why you're here or who you are. And you have a unique determination and decision in your life. And this is what makes you you. Nobody looks the same because all of that is a work in progress. All of this is where we get to change our life. It doesn't happen by, oh, maybe God will make me do it. God's not gonna make you do anything. Listen, if God was really gonna make you do something, don't you think he would have slapped that apple out of her hand? I mean, let's just talk about theology, right, for a minute. Like, let's save the whole world. Just like, let's go back in time, God, and smack that apple out of her hand. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is where we stay.
Another woman shaming the shit out of women. You know, in some Christian circles, women are treated like untrustworthy, whatever, because they view, well, if you're not religious, you don't know Adam and Eve. Okay. I'm going to assume everyone knows who Adam and Eve is. They view like Eve as having like a fundamental flaw of, because she was the one that ate the apple and then convinced blah, 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 Adam to eat the apple. Another woman doing the same thing.
Powerful. This allows us to have our own minds, our own emotions, our own desires. And when you change this changes your life. This is why you have people say, I hate these environments, church environments, because they're hypocrites. Have you ever heard that before?
Yes, y'all.
They're hypocrites.
Y'all.
And you go, well,
Optavia.
maybe they're not serving the same God I am. No, we're serving the same God. They just don't understand these three areas are their stewardship. And they've got to actually steward these areas.
Holy
How does
shit.
that work in our life? Well, our body also is our stewardship, which is our muscles and bones and five senses and action and speech, and all of that comes together.
Is she about to say that Optavia is going to help you be a better Christian because you're taking care of your body, the temple? If she's about to say that, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind.
I'm going to make this way harder than it needs to be.
And so now you are a triune being. You have a spirit you can ignore. You don't have to live with it alive, but you can live with it alive, and it makes it a whole lot easier. You have a soul, mind, will, and emotions. That's your responsibility. That's where your life is going to happen, and that's where your decisions are going to change. The course of your life happens here. And your body, unfortunately, is going to leave us at some point or another, but we steward our bodies because we want to live a full and abundant life. All of this is where we become the best version of ourselves. All of this. So here's what I want you to understand. Powerful people invest in becoming the best version of themselves. Powerful people are learners. They read books. They listen to podcasts. They decide, I'm gonna learn about that. I'm gonna grow. I'm not just gonna take it from my mom and take it from my dad and, make sure my husband's got that. No, I'm going to continue to grow. And the older you get, the harder it is, right? But as we get older, all of a sudden, as we begin to grow and we begin to steward, all of a sudden we begin to become the best version of myself. My best version is gonna be different than Deborah's. Deborah is smart. She's not as cute, but she's really smart. And I'm teasing. The best version of 𝐓𝐇𝐎𝐒𝐿𝐿, that doesn't mean I'm going to try to get into an Ivy League school. It means that I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna stop resisting my own weaknesses, and I'm gonna start looking at adversity as an advantage. I'm gonna start realizing that I may have to work harder than anybody else in this one area, but that's okay. Because I can do hard things. I can do what's necessary. I've written 11 books in the last 10 years, and every one of those books has required me to do triple the amount of work as anybody else. I have a contract with Thomas Nelson, a 2-book deal, that I'm shocked that I have this incredible deal with Thomas Nelson, and here I am, the girl that barely graduated. I actually homeschooled, and my mom is the only one that really knows if I graduated, and I asked her to take it to the grave because I really don't want to know the truth. But I have to dictate my books and reread them and rewrite them and over and over and over and over. And it's hard. Some of the work you're gonna do with Optavia and on your family and your kids, you're gonna have to work harder than the person that's helping you, and it's annoying. It's gonna be annoying to watch somebody just figure it out faster than you and you taught them. But don't let that limit you, because without adversity, we do not grow. We're stale, we don't become. And I hate where we are as an economy. I hate where we are as a community. I hated the coronavirus. I hated all the things, the people that we lost and the things that happened. I hated it, but here's the thing. I found a resolve in me that I did not have in 2020 before it all happened.
Shut up.
Like there was something that I accessed that I could not access on the beach sipping a pina colada.
I can't believe she said that. She is making a little bit of a jump. And maybe I'm reading into this because she's not making me. Listening to her shorts out the infrastructure of in my mind. I'm just mad. I'm mad at listening to her theology. I'm mad listening to what she's saying, that and it makes it seem like she's saying that it happened for a good reason for her. Cue the Chandler gave DeeCee the shut up one. Wait, where is it? Is it this one? Oh, I think I lost it. Is it, no. I need to find it. I need to get it. I need to download it. I'm trying to make my streams better with cooler stuff, but I still have to load it up.
It's all of a sudden we go to the worst case scenario, and instead of avoiding the worst case scenario, we go, you know what? It is fine. I made it through the 2008 recession. We're gonna make it through whatever comes. You know, it's like we stop making these smoke screens dictate what we're gonna do and how we're gonna be, and we start saying, no, I'm the author of this story. I'm not the character on the news. I'm the author of this story. And when we get powerful, all of a sudden we begin to go, wait a minute, I'm gonna take advantage of this time because not everyone's gonna lean in at this moment, but I could grow something that nobody else is growing, and I could get skills that I didn't have time because it was growing so fast. So all of a sudden, I now have time to actually figure it out. You know, it took me many years to talk about this publicly. But when I had my second son, I went to a pediatric appointment. While I was at that appointment, the doctor asked me, how are you doing? I said, not very good. And she said, I think you have postpartum depression. And when she said it, I began to cry. And then I began to think, I don't have depression. I'm a pastor. We don't have depression. But then I knew I needed help. So I called a friend who had a mom who was a counselor, and I called her and said, hey, this is 𝐓𝐇𝐎𝐒𝐿. I know you don't know me, but I think my doctor says I might have postpartum. And she calls me an hour later. I thought she obviously knew who I was, and she was very excited to see me. But apparently they want to make sure the baby stays safe. That's really their motivation. They're like, postpartum psychosis and postpartum depression, they have to diagnose that quickly. So I walk into her office, and I go through a test. There's about 14 stages of signs of postpartum, and I have 13 of them. And she says, okay, we're gonna meet every week. I go, great. So I walk in every week, and she begins to help me, and I start to feel better. And you know, I took medication, and I had a doctor, and I had all the things, and all of a sudden, 6 months later, I'm weaning off the medication, and I'm feeling amazing. And I thought I have showed her, like, look at me, like, look at how amazing I am. Like, I came out of depression, and I am just so powerful. And so I say to her, okay, I'm almost done here, but like, can you just tell me what your opinion is of my life? This is not a good thing to ask your therapist. I would like to you need to write that down. Do not do that. This was a weak moment. And so I said, what do you think of my life? And she said something that makes me want to punch her in the face. I felt it. She goes, well, you would have been in here eventually. The baby just got you here sooner. And I was like, you don't know me. No, I didn't say that, but I felt like it. And she goes, you have no ability for longevity in your life. You're a yes girl. You don't know what belongs to someone and what belongs to you. You're so busy keeping everybody happy and building everything that everybody else wants you to build, but you don't know how to be here 30 years from now. And I said, well, what do I do? She goes, well, I'm gonna start a group. There's gonna be 6 women in the city, anonymous. You're not allowed to ask their vocation. You're not allowed to ask their last name. You will never know what each of you are doing. But we're gonna sit for an hour and a half every week, and we're gonna talk through what it looks like to live a healthy life. I'm gonna show you what's yours and what's not yours, and I'm gonna teach you longevity. And I'm gonna give you what she gave me in the hour and a half that we have together. No, I'm teasing, in this moment together. So the first thing that she teaches me is this, is that powerful people...
Not another person taking their therapist work and using it as a sales pitch for a multi-level marketing opportunity. Really? Really? Here we are. Ashley Molstad does the same thing.
Understand the difference between boulders and backpacks. Do you know the difference between a boulder and a backpack?
Yes.
This is important because we often think that we're just supposed to help a lot of people, but we don't know how to actually know when enough is enough. How many of you are pleasers? Don't look around. How many of you have people that are dependent on you? And so I like to look at Galatians 6:4, where it says, carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. Now, when you look at carry each other's burdens in the scripture, it says this, burdens in the Greek means crushing load or boulder. It means that the crushing load is so heavy that if someone doesn't help them, they'll die under the weight of it. And then the author goes down at the end and he says, but each one should carry their own load. So in one part of the passage, he says, hey, carry each other's burdens. And the next passage, he says, but you should carry your own load. Why is he confused?
He's not confused.
Because load doesn't mean crushing. It doesn't mean burden. It doesn't mean a boulder. It actually means a backpack, a daily toil. And so what he's saying in here is, it is healthy and vibrant and good for each of us that when somebody is going through something tragic, you guys are gonna meet a lot of people that are going through tragic things. You know, I run an author school with hundreds of people that write books in 4 months, and we lost one of our author students in the 5th week of our class. She had an aneurysm, beautiful woman. And so we're all gonna be in places where people have crushing loads. And here's what a healthy, powerful person does.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna give you a secret that's allowed me to travel the world 2 to 3 times a month, write my books, parent my kids. I still do most of the things at home, and I love my life, and I have a happy marriage because of these skills, not because of my personality. I am not smart enough to do this well. But I'm gonna tell you how I do it and how I edit so that way I can work a full-time job and be a present parent. And this is what I'm gonna teach you. When you are faced with a crisis, you're gonna ask yourself, is this a boulder or is this a backpack? Just that edit alone is gonna buy you a lot more time.
Oh my God, ew, David. Ew. Ew, David. Ew, no, David. Ew.
How did we get here? This is twistier than I even thought it was going to be. I thought the first part of her speech was awful, and here we are. They're all bought in. I will say this, if you're not familiar with like celebrity people from different churches, they're probably stoked that they get to be around her. Hello, Sam. Hello, Igor. How did we stray so far from powdered foods? Hannah, incredible question. We don't know. We don't know.
I'm going to make this way harder than it needs to be.
Because if someone says, I tried to call you, you didn't pick up the phone. Like, I've been trying to reach you. Okay, well, why? Well, I need to put my order in. Okay, all right. You put your order in. I love that. I thought someone died. The way that you were calling me made it feel like there was like something like this, like the world is ending, right? So if we are pleasers, which I am a recovering pleaser, immediately I want to go, what do you need? How can I fix it? And then their anxiety becomes my responsibility, and now I'm anxious, and now I'm over-functioning so that they're happy with me, right? I'm sorry.
People in the audience are going,
I'm sure you guys are awesome and you
ooh.
have really good boundaries. But for me, and then I begin to think I did something wrong because their anxiety is coming at me, and so I did something
Hi,
wrong.
Linda.
And, I'm just trying to do my best, and I'm so sorry. But now I can say,
It's
is that a backpack or a boulder?
She is a guest speaker, so it's Twisty. She is like more of like a celebrity pastor, teacher with Bethel and Reading. She writes a bunch of books. Her twin sister is a top leader in Optavia. However, she is also in Optavia. And she told him, I guess, she'd speak at this conference. And now we will never get the last 1 hour and 26 minutes back of our life.
Now, this is important. A boulder is a daily toil, which means there are things that the adults in your life need to learn to do. Like, maybe pay their own cell phone bill. Do not look around. How are you going to help people and actually build a business when your adult children take all your time?
Oh.
How are you going to grow into the person you're becoming when your friends demand you to be on call like an ER doctor? How are you going to grow into the...
Why are you messing around in other people's families? And I will say this. Look, I do not take it for granted that my parents were willing and able to help me. I do not take it for granted, and I feel bad that my mom has to help me, that I'm well and should be healthy and functioning, and that I'm not, and that my mom offered to help me with my doctor appointment and is letting me stay here right now. I don't take it for granted, but she should certainly not be shaming parents if the parents want to or can or have to take care of their adult children. I'm probably projecting. I'm sorry. I'm not going to cry anymore.
Man or the woman that you need to become. And some of you are at a stage in your life, which I understand, where these skills are not going to come overnight. You're going to have to work hard at learning, and it's going to take you 3 times as much as the younger guy over here or the younger girl over here. But let me tell you, the way you get more time to practice the repetition of becoming powerful in that area is to edit quickly. Boulder, backpack, boulder, backpack. If it's a backpack,
Thanks,
then
Nicola.
I internally go, isn't it interesting that they want me to carry their backpack? I wonder where they learned that. Because there's 2 types of people in the room.
No.
There are responsible people.
Oh my God,
and
shut
there
up.
are irresponsible people. The responsible people are the ones that drove the car here, filled up with gas.
This is so twisted. This is the stuff that people are exposing themselves to when they join MLMs. When they fully buy in, they're around this type of thinking, and it messes them up for long periods of time. I'm 39 years old, and I need to move back home so my family can help me. I have an autoimmune illness that is scary to me. People need help, lady. I'm glad that you have people who can help you, Harper. Or a good friend.
Knows what time it is, has the key. How many of you that are responsible, you have your hotel key. You're the one that carries, you're the keeper of the hotel key. Okay, you know. And then there's another group of us that just kind of show up. They're irresponsible. If you're asking yourself, which one am I? You're irresponsible. Because all the responsible people are like, that's me. Yes, me again, yes. And so you have to ask yourself, why are they expecting me to carry this? And here's the thing. If I carry their backpack, I will not have the resources to do other things. So if I give to the same person over and over and over and over, then when there's a real need, this is why we're like, oh, I don't have time for that. Oh, I don't have the energy to, I can't go to convention. I can't be at Level Up because I don't have the time or the money, because you've wasted a lot of time and money on other people's backpacks because it made you feel good.
Oh my God,
and you're the
no
savior in
way.
their life. But let me tell you, they're not gonna turn around and thank you for giving up your life because you kept them happy. Irresponsible people do not learn through lectures. How many of you know you are a master lecturer? Like, I sit down with my teenage boys and I'm like, this is it. People pay me to preach. Sit down, I'm gonna preach you into this. And I preach my best messages and they're like, okay, what's for dinner? I'm like, I don't know, why don't you ask your other parent? And I lecture, I'm good at lecturing. I mean, I make points, I'm funny, I'm intense, I'm a bully. Like, I do it all, right? I'm like, game on, let's go. I got time. But my kids don't change. They don't change by lecturing. The ones that lecture are the ones that change through lecturing. People change through consequences. They change through pain. They change when you no longer allow them to treat you that way. You cannot say, well, you can't treat me that way. So you telling them that is gonna make them treat you differently? No.
No, but communicating with people is important.
When you start to say, internally, I'm not gonna be around that for that long because that's disrespecting me and you.
Yep.
I'm not doing it. And so people with backpacks are so used to all of us carrying their backpacks, they get really upset when you don't take care of them. All of a sudden, you're unloving, you're unkind, you're not a giver, you're not available, you're not the person I thought you were, you're not my best friend, you're not. And here's the thing, many of you are going to find favor in this. Many of you have found favor, and many of you will find favor, and there will be people that will come out of the woodworks with backpacks. It is not uncommon for me to be going somewhere and somebody to throw out a backpack at me. And I go, oh. And inside I think, oh, no. My giving goes to boulders. My giving goes to people that would be crushed under the load of poverty, not having food, not having fresh water, not having school lunch, whatever it is, that's where our giving goes, because that's a boulder that if we all take a piece, it becomes a manageable load. And so what happens? Well, this is important. Once we understand what a boulder and a backpack is, this is where things get really good. You see, powerful people understand the value and they exercise boundaries. So I'm gonna give you the quickest class on boundaries you'll ever hear.
Great.
Everybody thinks boundaries are about the no. Like, I do boundaries, I'm really good at saying no. We're like, no, you don't have good boundaries, you're just mean. Like, well, I'm good boundaries, but nobody likes you. Like, that's not what we want. We don't want to be like
you,
the girl
Igor.
with boundaries
Thanks,
nobody
Sam.
wants to hang out with. Like, we want good boundaries. So how do we have boundaries? And boundaries are not about no. Good boundaries are about what I'm saying yes to. Because once I know what I'm saying yes to, then my no becomes automatic. And so
No, it doesn't. It is a process. It's a process to learn how to have boundaries and be okay with some of the decisions, because sometimes it is hard for people to say, I cannot help with that. I don't agree with her style of teaching. I don't agree with her conclusions. Working on boundaries with a therapist, if you have access to that, I think would be far and above more helpful than listening to this shit.
psychologically, if all we do is focus on the no's, then we tend to do the no's. That's what we're looking at. And so healthy boundaries is actually you becoming the author of your life. Where's my time? Where's my resources? Where's my talent? Where's my relationships? And you doing a life edit. You inventory. What do I want to say yes to right now? And when you say yes to that, then it's no, I'm not going to go out and have dinner with 5 different people every single night because I want to be there for my kids. And they only talk at 9 o'clock at night because they're teenagers. It's mean. I used to think when my parents were raising us, I'd be like, why did my parents always go to bed? Like, we did crazy things in the house when they were asleep. Do you guys remember that? Like, your parents would be out, and you'd be like, I'm going to stay up and monitor this craziness that's happening in the house. And now I'm like, it's 8:30. I'm like, well, I'm just going to pray they stay safe. I'm going to bed. Like, I'm so tired. Nobody told me how tired I would be. You know what I'm talking about. So, what's a boundary? It's an invisible property line and a line of responsibility. It's the areas that you are fully responsible for and fully empowered to steward. There are 3 specific areas that when you leave here, nothing has to change in your life today, and you'll feel powered. You'll feel empowered. You'll feel like you know what you're supposed to be doing. So I like to call it your yard. And your yard is your own unique space that's yours. It's your own world. And your world is your responsibility. So like we moved into a home and the neighborhood happened to have a lot of older people in the neighborhood. I didn't know that until I saw how many lawns were being mowed consecutively through the day. It was like, wow, they are mowing their lawn again. Wait a minute, this is odd. This is not, my yard looks terrible. And so I realized, wait. And so our neighbor, Mike, mowed his lawn multiple times. And I mean, his yard was pristine. My yard, not so much. But it would be weird if I walked out to Mike and said, Mike, I know you're retired. It's clearly obvious. You have time. I'm out of control. Clearly I had too many kids, and there's really no way to fix that. So help a sister out and mow my lawn. You would go, that's weird. It's not Mike's responsibility. Why? Because it's your yard. And this is what boundaries looks like. It's knowing what's mine and what's yours and being so clear that we no longer try to micromanage people around us. And if we steward our yards really well, we have very little time to criticize how somebody else is taking care of theirs. So let's talk about this for a minute. The first thing that's in our yard, in your yard, is your feelings. Everybody say feelings. Feelings. Okay, so feelings. Feelings are what you feel about life. And here's the cool part. Feelings have no moral value.
They are a temperature.
There's no good feeling, bad feeling.
Yes.
They're just neutral.
Oh my God.
They just give us information to what's happening on the inside of us.
And on the outside.
Feelings are that thing when, you know, my husband, when we first got married, he asked me this question. I was like, I don't know how to answer this. He said, do you know how much gas is in your car? And I was like, well, there's no light. Like, I have gas. He's like, do you watch the lever? No, I just look for the light. That's how I know. There are people on the earth, psychopaths, that see what's in their car. I'm teasing. And so the light comes on. For all of us, the emotion that we experience, we were taught, for many of us, that's bad. Don't be angry. Don't get anxious. Stop.
MF said, well, hello, MF. MF said, hi, all. I am now listening to this wannabe therapist, preacher, teacher, and whatnot can tell anyone, and whatnot. Can anyone tell me what qualification she has? Sorry, feeling proactive to call them out tonight. No qualifications. She has written 11 books in the last 10 years. She is a pastor, or one of the pastors, or at least one of the speakers at Bethel in Redding, California. The Twisty Bethel. The grave-soaking Bethel. I say that because it's so wild. If you don't know what it is, there was a little bit of a controversy where people were thinking that they could soak up the spiritual gifts of someone who had passed on by laying on their grave. I'm judging the hell out of that. I am. And she is here because she is the twin sister of a top leader in Optavia. Her name is 𝐓𝐇𝐎𝐒𝐿 Cunnington. I will ask that the internet, not internet, I'm not your mom. I will say that we try to remember the humanity, our own humanity, and be civil and respectful here. And I do not want to encourage targeted harassment towards anybody. We are a commentary space, so I say that me in the live chat, commentary space, so.
But that's disrespecting the information your body is trying to tell you. So when we have an emotion, now this is important, all of a sudden you got to make a phone call and you feel anxious. Instead of saying, I'm not anxious, I'm kicking fear in the face.
You're incredible, Shelby.
You got to do your work. You have to go deeper and say, why am I anxious? Well, I don't know. When did I start feeling anxious? Well, it's this person. Well, why? Well, I think I'm afraid that I'm not going to have all the answers they need. Well, is that true? No, that's not true. I have a whole book and a resource, and I'm allowed to not know. I'm allowed to say, I'll have to find that out for you. And so all of a sudden we stop denying it, but then if we actually acknowledge our emotions, it gives us insight into a deeper level of core beliefs and values that begins to shift our life. So your emotions are the ones that they tell you what's going on the inside of you, and if you get really good at this, you'll understand what's happening and why you're not going forward. I was in North Carolina last Friday, and I got into bed, and I'm an Optavia person. Like I have the fuelings, and I love the fuelings. I love the bars. The rest of it, but I do. I have
the rest of it's awful.
And I'm like, that's kind of the insider secret is like just get the bars. But anyway, so
someone admitting that the Optavia fuelings taste like crap.
I'm very strict. I'm like, I tell the host, please don't.
I'm
take
going
me
over to
dinner.
children's church. They have snacks.
I'm very healthy. I'm an athlete, obviously. I'm teasing. And like just put some fruit in my gift basket, some bars, and I'll bring them home to my kids because they basically only greet me if I have something for them at this point in my life. That's what my life has become. So I sit down and there's this chocolate somebody gave me, and I like climb into bed and I can't fall asleep, and that chocolate is talking to me.
Just eat it.
You deserve it. You are a working mother. You've traveled 14 hours to get here yesterday. You're gonna leave tomorrow and travel 14 hours back, and you deserve it. And I'm eating the chocolate, and then I go to bed and I feel bad. Dang it, I'm better than this. I know this. This is not good for me.
Food's not good or bad. This is the first time you've heard that. Talk to a registered dietitian. You live in California, and this conference is in Arizona. Do you mean that you drove from Arizona to California? I thought you flew.
Now, I could deny that. Oh, that's just shame. That's dumb. Stop. Or
Hi,
I can ask the
Cena.
question, why at that moment did I eat the chocolate? You see, self-awareness is the power of transformation.
Oh.
When you know what's going on the inside of you, you can develop into the person that you were created to be. So if you don't know, let me tell you, nobody else around you knows why you're not doing it. So the only way they get access to information is if you'll do the work to figure out why this isn't working or why this is working and figure.
We'll do the, I know I said I wasn't going to ask, but it's not me asking. It's Amber's kid.
What did you?
That was from a Snark crew, Sip and Snark. She said that on, Amber's daughter said that. It was so cute. And she said I could use it.
Figure out why you keep roadblocking and sabotaging your success. So I sat on the plane and I realized, what was I feeling? I think I was feeling anxious. Why was I feeling anxious?
You're incredible,
Because
Shelby.
people spend a lot of money to bring me in, and I only have a few moments, and what if I can't deliver what
Okay,
they
good
want?
point, Melissa.
What if I'm having a bad day? What if I say something wrong? And then all of a sudden I start doing my work and I realize, where did that come from? That came from an idea that I have to do it perfectly.
I think she's trying to
doing
make
it
a
wrong.
joke. It's a bad joke.
This is what I'm talking about. Mature people do the work. They figure it out and they find out, and all of a sudden it disempowers that emotion and it allows me to live a powerful life because now I know I don't need to be anxious. I'm allowed to make mistakes. Adults make mistakes. Adults don't know how to do everything. It is okay to be learning. I've never been 45.
Declan's
I've never
so
had
cute.
4 kids. I've never been in this city at this moment in this room. So I'm not going to hold myself to an expert idea of an expert when I've never been here before. And for some of you, you need to let yourself off the hook. You're not an expert. You're a beginner. You're a learner, and that is okay.
Everyone in Optavia is not an expert. And and I would say even this, if you are a doctor and you are an Optavia consultant, that still doesn't give you any extra pull because you're not operating under the protection of a hospital shilling the Optavia stuff. I'm guessing it's separate because if you are a doctor at a hospital or a practice, I don't necessarily, and this is just my assumption, that you would be doing the Optavia stuff on your own time. Wouldn't you? No? Do I need to tell my experience about how it was when I was in Medifast, when I was doing the Medifast program? Maybe for a different stream, because if someone is giving you food advice, they better be a registered dietitian or a a therapeutic nutrition counselor, a LNC, licensed nutrition counselor, whatever the correct terminology is. This is a recipe for twisty stuff. No credentials. Literally none, Shelby. Literally none.
You're allowed to learn. You're allowed to grow, and you're allowed to figure it out right where you are. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. The second thing is this, I'm almost out of time, is your feelings are your attitudes. Now, your attitudes are what you think about life. So your feelings are what you feel about life. Your attitudes are what you think about life. And this is where your core beliefs and your values come from. Have you ever had someone say to you, you need to get a better attitude? Can I just say that?
Doug,
Thea,
you
can't do that.
the Tinters.
You can change your behavior, but to change your attitude requires you to go in and do the work of figuring out what you believe and why you believe it. Most of us, our core values and our belief systems have come from our caregivers. We were raised in a culture. It was given to us by this person and this person and this person. And half the time, we don't even know why we're doing it. We're doing it because this is what everyone else did. And so today, in the next couple days, we're going to challenge this. We're going to say, your core values are a little off. Your beliefs are a little off.
Wow.
And when you start to actually challenge that, the way you...
We're going to fix you and solidify your relationship in Optavia. You're going to fall in line like you've never fell in line before. We're going to fix your mind so that you are fully committed. This is so culty. This is so freaking culty.
You think about life is going to change. You don't go to changing your thinking. You go to changing what you believe, which actually accelerates what you think. And that's how it works for transformation. And then lastly, the only way to change them is to go deeper in the belief. Okay, I was already there. And then last one is this.
Only way to change them is to go deeper in the belief. The only way to change them is to go deeper in the belief. She's saying literally all the quiet parts out loud.
Choices. Every action you've ever done, you need to take full responsibility over. The place we find our personal power.
This is so twisty. They do it in the Christian faith all the time.
When I started traveling, I was so overwhelmed.
Oh my God, I love this. An Optabot.
I was so overwhelmed. Here I am writing a book. I'm on a tour bus. I've got babies. I mean, I'm doing all these things. And I remember telling God, what are you, like, this is dumb. Why are we doing all this? This is so hard. I can't do this. And, you know, why are you making me do this?
They're not questioning her because she's a popular celebrity speaker for them. And her sister, she's the twin sister of one of the top leaders. So she gets a pass, apparently. Like, oh, we know someone who knows you and you're related to somebody else, so you're good.
I literally had that thought. I know you've never thought that, but I had that thought. And he's like, okay, well, when you married Ben and you were standing at the altar and you looked at your husband, Ben, and you said, I choose to marry you, was there a gun there? I'm like, no. So nobody was holding a gun to your head when you chose to marry Ben? No.
This is so, apologies. This was done a few weeks ago in in the grand scheme of things, with all of the stuff that's happened here in the United States, why would you use this example of forcing someone into a decision? Why? The lack of empathy and the lack of consideration for others is just appalling. Sorry, my parents' dog's barking.
There may have been handcuffs. No, I'm teasing, but there's a gun, okay? So, okay, when you had kids, every time you got pregnant, was there a gun involved? Again, no, just handcuffs. No,
Every time you got pregnant, was there a gun involved? Shame on you, ma'am. I want to apologize. I should have at least ran this through the transcript so I could have read it before we went live. I have friends who watch my channel who have either gotten out of a controlling and abusive relationship or they are still in one. And her making jokes about this shit is so inappropriate.
teasing. Okay, so.
And everyone's freaking laughing in the audience.
Listen, it is so funny.
No,
we got
it's
pregnant so
cursey
fast.
word city
Daniel
here.
has gotten Deborah and I mixed up. Daniel has hugged me like I am Deborah. And let me tell you, he has pulled me in and been like, oh, and I'm like, I'm Havilah. Like I literally yell, I'm Havilah, and I get pregnant really fast, so let me go. That's why I don't do hugs. That's genuinely why I don't do frontals. No, I'm teasing. Okay, so I'm not in church. I'm allowed to talk a little bit more like this. Okay, so you have to go back to every origin you feel powerless in, and you have to go back to that exact moment when you said yes. Was there a gun when you decided to be a coach? No.
No, but there was undue influence.
Like, you have to get to that.
Force, coercion, fraud. Fraud meaning that you were told to, or you were told about an opportunity and the information that was shared was limited. So there was a lie of omission or there was purposeful deception so that you made a decision without informed consent. That could have been an opportunity. That could have been how you signed up to be a coach. This is such a unscientifically founded thought about how people can get coerced or lured into signing up for multi-level marketing. Oh, everyone's adults. No one is impaired to be able to make this decision. Have we not heard of lie of omission? Have we not heard about making something seem better than it is? Have we never heard about any of that? This is awful. Oh my God.
Point, because if you don't take full responsibility, and if it's I have to, you made me, this isn't working, my husband had me do this, my wife had me do this, my family's sabotaging me. If you do that, you can do that and you can spiral, but you're not going to be powerful. It's the moment that I go, every choice I have made has led me to this moment.
Oh my God.
And what I have done that I don't like, I'm gonna change. I'm not gonna hold myself in prison to those choices, but I'm going to actually work my way out. So I wanna show you this. This is important. Everything that you have had happen in your life right now is a fact. A fact. So you're here in the room, fact. You're with Optavia, fact. You're married or you're not married, fact. You have kids or you don't have kids, fact. Any opinion, belief, filter, or emotion that you have wrapped around that fact is a thought.
Oh my God, this sounds just like what Ashley Molstad was shilling on her podcast.
And that thought was chosen by you. So I can sit in a room with everybody
Good
else.
point,
I mean, you
Sina.
look around, we have a diversity of people, and I could be sitting here going, I don't like this. I don't like what they're doing. I don't feel like they really are talking to me, and I don't feel like this is relating to me. And the person right next to you who's sitting in the exact building at the exact moment with the
I'll take
exact
some, Aaron.
fact around their life. They could be a single mom. They could be a working mom. They could be a dad who has a full-time job and does this on the side. There's somebody in this room that has the exact same situation, and they're having a completely different circumstance. Why? Drugs. No, I'm teasing. Why? Possibly. Hopefully. Okay, but whatever. So, pharmaceutical. Okay, let's just keep going. So, why? Because at the origin of that thought, they either chose it or they dismissed it. They chose.
Thought stopping techniques 101.
I don't like that, or I like that, or I don't believe that. Oh, I believe that. And once you choose that thought, which is yours, it's your thought, it's your interpretation of your life, your situation, your gender, your personality, the way you look, that's your interpretation. I'm sorry, it is. You might have had some people confirm it, but it's your interpretation.
No. It's not your interpretation if something awful has happened to you. It's not your interpretation if something that you were born with a physical or mental limitations. It's not your thought about that. It's not your interpretation. She's going to say, you can think your way out of any type of situation, or you can reframe it. Go to a therapist for the love of God. Save your Optavia money and go to a therapist. This is harmful type of thinking for people who are working through stuff. And it's also telling them to not listen to any red flags. Hey, we're losing money. That's a fact. Hey, this is putting insurmountable pressure on our marriage. Optavia is. That's a fact. Oh, well, you just need to blah, 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 blah. No. People are more important than a multi-level marketing product. I don't know. I didn't really say it all that clearly, but it's so twisty listening to her.
Then that thought becomes a feeling. So if I walk in the room and I think, oh, I don't know if anybody cares I'm here. And then all of a sudden, I don't want to sit by anybody. And then all of a sudden, I just don't feel like I'm doing anything with my life. Then after you have that feeling, all of your choices begin to align, not with what you feel, but at the origin of the thought. If you get married and you have the thought, I married the wrong person, that thought can linger for a long time. And then all of a sudden, you start thinking, I don't really feel like I like them. They're not really my thing. And then all of a sudden, you start feeling distant and you start feeling like we made a mistake. And we might go, well, it's this year, 2020, that's the bad part. No. It happened, or 2020, what year are we in? 2024, 3. This is, you give children a quarter of your brain, I'm lucky to be talking, okay? And I've got pants on, so I'm winning. So, that came all the way at the origin
Thank you,
of that
Julie.
thought that now disempowers you.
Julie said, I just joined the live, and this is exactly the stuff they teach through the Life Coach School. I was in a weight loss program, and she is a coach from the Life Coach School. Sounds so familiar. Oh. Thank you for sharing that.
At this moment. So why are you talking about this, Havla? Because the moment you take full responsibility for this moment is where you get your power. Where you get your power. There are things I can't change. I'm a mom. I'm a working mom. I'm not a trust fund baby. I wish I was. I did not marry for wealth. Next time, maybe, but this time, no. I have grown in my intellect, but I'm not a super smart person. I still have dyslexia. I don't like reading. Writing takes me longer than I'd ever want it to take. Fact. And the only reason I'm living a powerful life is not because the stars aligned, but because I took personal responsibility of every fact, and I decided I get the filter. I get to choose what I'm gonna interpret that as. I get to be the person I wanna be, who I'm called to be, and no one gets to dictate that. And I don't care what your opinion is or what you think your thought is a fact, it's not a fact over my life. And so when you get really clear on that, then when someone comes up and goes, I don't like the way you did that, you'll go, interesting, you think that's a fact, that's your thought.
No. Using undue influence on people, that is a fact. That is wrong. Even if you never acknowledge it, you can reinterpret me commenting on the internet. Anybody in Optavia can. They can think that Aaron or Julie Joe or other people, 𝐔𝐄𝐒𝐃, or Clowntown covering Optavia. Oh, it's just a fact. It's just our interpretation. No, taking advantage of people is wrong. Encouraging eating disorders is wrong. Convincing people to spend large sums of money and telling them they're going to win at this business model when most people don't is wrong. Flippity flop. This is Twist City.
So why am I teaching all this? And I'm out
We
of time.
don't
I want you
know.
to understand this. So as your world gets bigger and things get demanded of you and everybody's, asking things of you, you're gonna go like this. Spirit, soul, body. Okay, I'm a steward of my body.
Hope
Is it
you
my
have a good,
mindset?
take care
Is
of
it something that
yourself,
needs to be healed
please.
in my heart? Or is it my will and determinations that I need to figure out? And then, they have a need. Is it a backpack or a boulder? Okay, it's a backpack. Okay, cool. You guys, you go for it. I know it's uncomfortable, but I'm sorry, I'm not your mom. And you do that. And then you get into your yard and you go, okay, now that I have some time at a conference, level up, like I want to learn skills. And we're like, okay, what you can do right now is think, what am I thinking about? What's the story I'm telling myself? What's the narrative that I'm believing right now that's either serving me or hurting me? And I'm going to be honest about that narrative. That's a thought. What am I feeling right now? I want to act like I'm excited, but I think it's anxiety. And so be honest. I think I feel a little anxious. Why? Because I have a core belief that I cannot actually do this. And that's not going to serve me. And then lastly, my choice.
Anxiety isn't all in your head sometimes. Sometimes you need help because you have a chemical imbalance and you get to work and you have, I know, some people don't have access to medicine. Some people don't have access to therapists. I'm just saying it's not all in your head. Sometimes you can process through it. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't.
Says, Tia did it perfectly. Where are you? Here. Now. I don't know where it was, but it was something like that, right? You get so clear that when you sit in a room with all of you, you sit in a room and you go, I know who I am, I know what matters, I know what to steward, and I know how to be powerful in any environment. And so I don't go to bed worried about what people think of me. People don't like me, people like me, it doesn't matter. If you don't have my home phone number, you don't have an opinion.
The FTC doesn't have your home phone number, but they certainly have an opinion about the health claims in Optavia and the income claims in Optavia. They certainly do, and they don't have your home phone number.
I don't care if I am your thing or not your thing. I'm 20% people, I'm just not gonna be there, and that's okay. It doesn't matter. What I know is that I steward my inner relationships, I steward my thoughts, I steward my feelings, because the only person I'm the deepest relationship with is myself.
She sounds just like Ashley.
I deserve the respect.
What?
To acknowledge my feelings, choices, and attitudes.
Yes.
To move forward.
We've turned a 3-hour session into 6.5 hours, and I'm so sorry.
Does that make sense? All right, good. So stand with me for a minute.
Stretch.
Just stand right where you are.
Burn some calories.
Because I want us to get really clear.
Are we priming our emotional pumps right now?
I'm going to make this way harder than it needs to be.
Okay, I just want you to close your eyes for a minute.
Oh God, NLP, let's go.
Just close your eyes for a second. And I want you to think about your life right now.
It's not even a scheme,
And
per
if
se.
you are feeling the weight of the world, if you're feeling like this is a lot, if you're feeling overwhelmed, I want you to ask yourself, whose backpack am I carrying?
No backpack is on
Whose
my
backpack
back
do
right
I need
now.
to give back? Who's taking my strength? Who's taking my clarity because I'm so busy pleasing them that I'm not actually loving myself well? And for some of you right now, as you sit here and you think about a backpack, you're gonna know immediately what needs to go back. You're gonna know it. And you're gonna act like you don't know it because you're uncomfortable with the thought of giving it back to them.
Optavia?
But you're not gonna get on the other side of breakthrough if you don't give that back. So you're gonna trust
She's got
God that He'll
great
take
hair,
care
though.
of them,
I mean, she's got
and
great
that they
hair.
are adult enough to take care of that. And for some of you, you're good at that, but you know that there's this heart, you have this heart to help people. And I believe that right now, if you were to dig a little deeper, you would see that there's a boulder that's crushing some sort of community or lives that you go, I want to be a part of helping them carry that boulder. And that's why I want my business to thrive. I want to help people.
You will get rich quick. We all will.
And whatever that is, I want you to make that commitment right now. Like, my energy, effort, resources, and time are going to be towards helping that boulder become a manageable weight in those people's lives. And then for some of you, you've never thought about your yard before. You're like, I've never thought about my yard.
The only good thing about this stream
And maybe
and
you
the sandwich my mom brought me.
thought your spouse holds your feelings and your boss holds your choices, and maybe your mom holds your thought about life. But I just want you to imagine your yard. Some of you, it's a beautiful garden.
Oh my
Others of you, maybe
God.
it's
Hey,
in
Ruthie.
the wilderness, got a stream next to it. Maybe it's in the desert, like we are today. But I want you to think of that yard right now, and I want you to think about, do I like what I'm growing? Do I know what my thoughts are, my feelings, and my choices?
Holy shit.
And I want you just to imagine that in the four corners of this yard is all that matters right now. This is where life happens. This is where transformation happens.
It sounds like a get-rich-quick
Is there
scheme.
some weeds in your
thank
yard
you.
that you need to pull? Be courageous enough to pull the weeds. Are there thought processes that are not serving you? Are there emotions that need to be healed and acknowledged? Are there choices that need to stop? That you've acted like you're powerless as somebody else, but you know you've made the choice.
No.
Take
How
back-
is this not a pyramid scheme?
Take back your authority. Take back your life.
I did. My stomach's upset,
So you
but
can walk
I'm
into
going to wait till the end of the
atmosphere
stream.
in power. Okay?
I
Amen.
wolfed it down because I
Amen.
haven't eaten
Bless you
anything in a
guys.
long time, so. Holy shit.
Thank you.
You will get rich quick. We all will.
What do you guys think? Is that good?
No, that's her twin.
I'm telling you.
That's her
I
twin.
have lived with her. I was in a womb with her. I have done a lot of life with her. And every time she speaks on this, I'm like so convicted because I'm like, I got to figure this out, right? I've got to figure it out, and I've got to take control of my life. So how many of you just felt like a little overwhelmed with the revelations of like, wow, I got to get some stuff together in my life, right? Like, I got to figure out my attitudes, feelings, choices. I would encourage you to go back. The ones who, all of you have taken notes, go back, mull it over, think about it. And even if you don't know what they are, ask your spouse. They will tell you. They'll tell you what attitudes you have and choices and all that good stuff. But I just want you to know that we're all in a process, and we're all doing it together. So we are going to do a little bit of announcements before we go. So, Marinza,
Not
are you guys ready?
announcements.
Yes, yes.
Woo,
Wow.
woo! Was that not an amazing night, you guys?
My goodness.
Such an incredible night.
So for the next hour, I'm just kidding.
Oh, she was the dancer
like,
lady.
I'm ready
That's
to go to
Summer,
bed.
right?
I
think you
No?
said that joke last year.
She said, she said 8:30, and I thought, yeah, I'm about ready to go to bed. With that, please get quality sleep for yourself tonight. It is very difficult to do sometimes.
I think this is
when
the
you're in an
Morenzes.
Airbnb, you're hanging out together, you're pinging off the energy, but please do everything you can to get some quality sleep, because tomorrow,
You're not going to eat anything.
It's going to be amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Amazing.
And just so you guys know, 7 a.m., Tia's going to have some praise and worship here in the sanctuary. It's optional. You're more than welcome to come join us. We would love to have you. It officially starts at 8 o'clock. The doors are open. You can come on in. And and it is going to be kicked off right there. So we want to see you fresh and ready to receive in the morning. So
Receive?
can we just say we all love each other so much, and there's like thousands of photos we want to take. Let's save a lot of those thousands for tomorrow so that you can
We've got
sleep
the pictures
really
from this
well tonight.
conference.
And when you leave, make sure to turn to your neighbor and then look down on the ground and pick up some trash and take it with you. Let's leave this place cleaner than what it was before. I used to be a part of a program in this thing, and man, I was one of the dudes that cleaned up the church, this church, so you know, and you'd be amazed at what happens after conferences sometimes. So let's make the guys that clean up be like, okay, let's go home now, because they're awesome. With that, let's have an awesome night.
Have a good night, everybody!
See you tomorrow morning.
Okay. We made it. Let's go. Okay. Did I turn a 2-hour did I turn a 3-hour training into a 6-hour stream? We don't know. We did. Holy moly. This happened 3 weeks ago. How long is the day from? This was the night. So tomorrow, Friday's session is going to be super long. I'm surprised it didn't close with prayer. You know what? I am too. I'm grown. I want to stay up all night taking pictures. I will. Hell yeah. 18-hour hike tomorrow, Amy. They probably would have been totally on board for that. We forgot food, no problem. Sleep, don't chat. You might talk to each other out of all of this. Can't have that. You know, exactly. It's the one of us. The one of us little chant. Oh, let's raid. Let's raid Julie Anderson. Oh my God. We're gonna do it right now. I'm going to stream. Y'all, we're gonna raid Julie Anderson. Hold on. Don't leave yet. We're gonna send over to them. Hold on. Oh my God. I'm so excited. Wait. This is the best day of my life. Okay. Edit video. I'm gonna raid her. If she has it turned on, please have it turned on. Julie. Oh no. Wait, what? There it is. We're raiding her right now. Okay? I'm going to end the stream. Stay on the stream. It's going to redirect her. Oh my God. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. I'm going to end the stream. Okay. And I'm going to check my mail. All right. Goodbye.